curious to know, what is your reaction to what we've been talking about so far? You know, is it, yeah, what is it? I won't comment, it could be a lot of things. Robbie, what's sort of your, how would you classify your response to this teaching emptiness?
I just think I shared some of that. Would you say that? Personally, I would say excitement and relief. Knowing. And my words.
Anyone else?
Yeah, but I was really interested in the non-findable self, as a philosophical discussion about what is the self. Well, that was really interesting, and I was looking forward to digging into that more. And then just the impermanence and dukkha, I can understand how helpful I can. Grateful and hopeful of how helpful it can be in my life going forward if I can understand its impact on me.
I'll just clear my throat. No. Well, I'm one of those that have had a shit of a life. So, you know, I'd give up on anything other than this now. And I mean, the main thing with this philosophy is you don't fear death. And it wouldn't worry me. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, the guys would probably have a big party, go to the bank, get a loan, go on a plane and leave the debt to my family. Wouldn't feel guilty about it at all. Like, no, do you know what I mean? Like, and Deb was talking about too, she fears death. I don't fear death. You know, it doesn't work.
I guess the question though is, what is your response to these teachings on emptiness?
Well, I just know enough now. I know that 100% I don't doubt it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So if my being goes to crave, I spot it immediately. Craving, I'll even tell you, I'm just craving that, or I'm just, I come to terms with it. It's the simplest way to live. I mean, really. Hey.
So you're kind of at peace with it.
Yes, I'm very comfortable with it, at peace with it, because the pennies drop with it. You then can point yourself, you can see yourself doing that, or going to do that, or thinking to do that, or which is just habitual. It's not. You can catch yourself before the pain happens. And I feel the pain in the gut. So.
Anyone else? Anyone else have anything different?
I think what everyone has basically said.
Yeah,
said that what you said.
Yeah. That was
Good summary.
Yeah, that was what I was sharing with everybody this weekend.
Just being free.
Yeah.
Being free.
And that sense of excitement.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'm excited. But I also feel, which I shared with you just earlier, I feel a calmness. That is not usual to me. It's almost like I've been given a pass that I don't have to play this anxiety queen.
You let off the hook almost. Let off the hook.
Let yourself off.
I
don't have to play the victim.
Kind of
I don't have
permission
to play.
to not have to do the anxiety thing anymore.
Yeah, that's cool, isn't it?
Tash, how are you going? I know you've been busy, but have you been taking any of it in? And
I have been
your kind of response to it?
I have been taking it in, but I'm not exactly sure of the conversation that's happening right now.
She
was in her own world,
just checking in. Your emotional response to these teachings, what would it be? Amazing.
Well, yes, I believe that as a human, we all have these choices on how to react to circumstances. Now, when we have the immediate reaction, that's based on trauma from previous experiences. So when we look within and can see, okay, that experience makes me feel good or that experience makes me feel bad, that's us choosing to do it. We just aren't aware enough to notice when we choose to do something and when we are just so wound up and used to feeling that because of, past trauma.
Cool. Well, I asked that because when people learn about emptiness teachings, there can be a huge range of response. So, everything from complete disinterest, like, I don't see the point. Like, what's the point? All this stuff, I want to live. Like, how does this help me? So there can be that response. There can be an exciting response that this is the key. This is the answer. This is what I've been looking for. You can have peace and bliss. So there can be a calmness that overcomes you. There can also be fear, because it is very confrontational to sort of say you don't exist. So fear can arise. So it's important, and it's sort of a good time to check in to see what the various responses are. So see how you go, and you need to manage those responses. And as you deepen, some of these responses may come up for you, and so it's good to have tools on how to deal with the various emotional responses that can come as a result of deepening insight. Because it is quite a journey.
So you can still have your desires, but you just don't get attached to those desires if they don't pan out, so to speak.
Well, that's true. I'm not really talking about that. I'm just talking about, I'm hoping to take you on a journey of deepening insight. Okay, and it's not just a simple journey where you'll go, base A, base B, C, D, E, and then I'm there. Right? It is an emotional journey, and emotions can come up. So one minute you might be feeling peaceful, and then the next minute you have this realization, and it actually makes you pretty terrified. And you're like, oh my God, I didn't realize that's what emptiness meant. That is really scary stuff. And then later you might come to terms with that and realize, well, that's actually a big relief, so I could be relieved. And love could come out of it. You see, you know what? I just suddenly feel love for everything. So this journey can have these detours to very different responses from the heart. And so as a teacher, I guess I want to mention that and say they may not. In fact, it might be very A, B, C, D, E, and you're there. Who knows? But it can be, and it is for a lot of people, quite a roller coaster. Yeah?
Oh yeah, I guess in hindsight, when I think back, it is a journey.
Yeah.
Not overnight.
So let's talk about some of those responses. So one of it is this kind of boringness, blandness. It's like, I sort of said to you that, what you've got to do is realize there's no self and bring your mind back to equanimity. Just see the things you see and hear the things you hear, and that's it, nothing more. And people go, well, actually that's a bit boring. It's a bit bland. It's a bit blah. Why would I want to do that? Because a lot of us we're quite addicted to drama. And you'll notice that a lot is people say they want peace, but you'll see them poking people to try to get a raise out of someone. Or they'll say, you know what, let's buy a bottle of whiskey and make tonight a bit fun, shall we? Or,
Yeah, I'll do it.
we are addicted to drama, either good drama or bad drama. We can unconsciously pick little fights with people just to get that hit of a drama in our life. And what we're teaching with peace, by comparison, can be a little bit boring. It's like, well, meditation, just sit there and stare at a wall and concentrate on your breath. In a way, that's so boring. So that can be a response, is this sort of boring blandness. So what we need to do is work on the hooks and the triggers that cause us to want to have drama in our life. And we need to actually see that drama in the end always causes dukkha. It does cause suffering in the end, even though we're kind of addicted to it and we push for it, it's always upsetting, But sometimes people will self-sabotage themselves unconsciously just for that, because the ego is feeling threatened, and the ego will cause you to hook someone in order to get that reification. You shouldn't have said that to me. I was just doing that out of a bit of fun. I just threw water all over you just for a bit of fun. You shouldn't have been mad at me. Or whatever. There's that hook to.
That's what I've done with my best friend, as I bang on about. That's what I've done.
Yeah.
And had no response in 3 months. And that's part of probably how I feel. It's just, really.
Did you throw the water or did she?
I did, but she just in that, like in that context, in 5 minutes, and hasn't responded, which is just.
That was her last straw.
That was not her last straw. She didn't give me a right of reply, or not a right of reply, a little sit down to say, Deb, let's have a chat.
Yeah, but addiction to drama is a habit. Like, you can do it and not even know you're doing it.
No, I'm not saying mine was addiction to drama. It was just a moment of blah that cost me.
No, when I say blah, I don't mean saying things you don't mean. I mean blandness. So blah 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 blah.
Boring.
Yeah, it's like, you could listen to this and you could go, I don't see the point. I want a life which is fun, and this does not sound like fun.
Action packed.
Yeah, this does.
The same thing. Mine was, sorry to interrupt. It was bland saying, because when I came back from Bali, probably on a high, and all I was saying, not in hindsight, but saying at the time, I want to do this differently. I want to tweak it. I want to add value added. Instead of talking twice on the phone for 1.5 hours, and we live 5 suburbs away, and we have happy hour once a month, let's go on a road trip for a day to look at your new renos at your house you're building. That's all I said. Very harmless. And I can't, as Peter and I have discussed, he said, Deb, I can't speak for Anne, and I don't know the circumstances, and neither can I. And she's my best friend of 50 years. But it's interesting that I've also got, I know that's adding to my fabrication or unwell, not that. It's adding to feeling unwell, because it's always lingering. It's uncomfortable.
But things are impermanent, things change, but when we then, the suffering comes when we fabricate.
Yeah.
So we don't know the answer, and we have to accept we don't know the answer, and we probably will never know the answer. Drop it.
Big ball to drop.
Yeah, you'll get sick of
It's burning you.
Yeah, it'll make you crook.
You're holding on to it, and it's burning you.
my gut.
Yeah,
You gotta let it go so it stops burning.
Yeah, let it go.
Easier said than done.
It is.
3 months, I'm doing better than I would have thought.
You know what the 12 steppers do, whether you don't even have to believe about it, but they hand it over. Every day they wake up and they hand over their alcoholism, and they hand it over. They go, I don't want this, it's too much. But they have a power greater than themselves. You could call it whatever you want to. Just do that.
Yeah.
Like, I can't hang on to this, it's heavy. I'm giving it to whatever today.
It's not even heavy, it's just like it's lack of information.
Well,
it's lack of
no, but
knowledge.
it's heavy
It's
because
heavy.
you're fabricating all the time.
Yeah.
So it's a weight on your mind because every day or so you spend a good half an hour creating a story. So it's heavy. So and it's causing you dukkha. So just hand it over to a power greater than you, or just drop it, like
Yeah, but it's funny because you can get advice like, you know, say my sisters who know me and know Anne, and they said, Deb, get rid of your pride. That's a big one because I know I've got bucket loads of pride, and ring it. And and even her best friend, who's also ghosted me, said, Deb, that was a week later. She said, get rid of your pride, just ring it. I said, I've reached out and said, on the last night at Billabora, that I don't know if you were there. I was telling Peter, the guy who ran the that celebration, Andy, you know, when we had the thing, and he said, the last words to her we were talking to, don't have expectations. And that I reckon, and I said to Anne, after I'd done the deed, I texted her the next morning, I said, I'm sorry if I put my expectations on you. So I took full responsibility.
I don't even think she needed to hear that. But
anyway.
Well,
yeah,
I'm going into the story, sorry, but
we've been through it and
through it.
The answer is you've done what you need to do.
Let it go.
It's now time to just let it go and move on. And this is, it's your teacher. This is your teacher. So let it be your teacher.
She's an
Learn
angel.
how to let it go. And feel the reduction in dukkha. Feel the reduction in dukkha once you have let it go, and you will feel so much better. And you'll realize, well, I was holding on to something that was burning me, and now I've let it go, and I should do that more often with lots of other things.
yeah, it's a big teacher, maybe.
Exactly.
Big,
huge.
This might be like as people say. Once if you can let this go, and then you go, well, how good does that feel to let this go? It could, you know, just started a whole domino effect.
Letting go.
Letting go, yeah.
Some of us work up to it. We work up with little bits, but eventually, with all of us, we let go of something really big.
Yeah.
And then we go, well, if I can do it with that, then I can do it with anything.
Yeah.
And it becomes second nature.
I find for me to phrase it, it's the same thing, but I phrase it as surrendering to it. Because, and it's only a tweak of the words, but for me, surrendering is a more useful tool for me than letting go. Because letting go kind of means letting go, whereas surrendering kind of means to me gently hold it, and it's still there, but you're not suffering, you're just surrendering. Do you know what I mean? So it's very slight.
Another word is just accepting.
Yeah.
And that's like, it's there, but you accept it. So whether you want to use letting go, acceptance, or surrendering, you choose the term. But the point is, whatever it is, it stops the fabrication in your mind. So it's like, I'm done with it.
Yeah, surrendering's come up recently for me a lot, that word.
So
thank
all right.
you. I hope everyone else got something out of that. Thank you. I think I'm finally getting it.
And
thank you.
yeah, so we're talking about the heart response to these teachings, and as I say, this sort of what's the point type is one reaction. Now another one is fear, and we've actually talked a lot about the dark night of the soul. So this is common in many traditions, that as you start to find God or see emptiness, this sense of dread comes up that you're losing yourself. And you're losing what you believed was yourself, which is an ego, but it was all an illusion. Nevertheless, for you, that illusion is very real. And so as you see it as more and more illusory, it's the ego itself is like, I don't want to be dissolved. And so fear can come up. And people feel like it's dying before you die. You die before you die. And it's that scary. It's like, I feel like I'm dying. Part of me is dying. Now, when you get through that, you look back and you see that part was never real in the first place. So it's laughable. But during the process, it's very, very scary. So fear can come up. And that is one reason why we practice samadhi, because if you can get into states of, because it is possible to do this without much meditation, just by doing insight teachings alone. It's hard because samadhi is like a powerful magnifying glass, so it helps empower the process, but it also helps lubricate the process because you can feel into the sense of peace that samadhi brings, and also the sense of letting go also brings peace, and so that samadhi actually helps you feel that as well. Now, interestingly, you can feel the sense of peace sometimes. This is the case where you feel the sense of peace, but you feel the fear at the same time. So there's a sense of loveliness and fear at the same time. So that's quite interesting. And so you sort of need to lean into the more lovely aspect of it. And also for practitioners that are experiencing fear, one would recommend metta practices. So loving kindness practices would be something that if you came to me and said, geez, Pete, this scary stuff, I believe you, but it's making me feel very awkward here, then metta would be also one of the practices that I would have in the back of my mind to help through that transition. So that's fear. Next is bliss and rapture can arise. Contemplating these things, you can actually get tingly feelings. This is so amazing. This is highly meaningful. This is the most meaningful thing that I've ever heard of in my whole life. Everything that I've really heard of now is all just facts and figures, but this seems to have some sort of essence, and I've been sort of thinking about the meaning of life now for my whole life, and this seems to have, somehow it has that essence that there's something really tangible here that is beyond spirituality, it's beyond the rational mind, it's really meaningful, and it can be rapturous, so it can be really, you can get physical tingles, things like that. So rapture, we can feel into that. And interestingly, love can be liberated. It's sort of counterintuitive that, but I said it before, as you start to become less selfless, there's this sense that love for all things interconnected with you can just self-liberate and become present in your heart at the same time. So you can feel more connected. Ironically, the less you see yourself as, the more connected you feel with everything around you. So you can feel connected with each and every one of you and others all around you, and feel that sense of love.
Did you notice that anatta in Japanese is me, I? Did you notice that with the language? Anatta, me, anatta.
Right.
Yeah. Not all of them would know it means selflessness, but yeah. Anatta is me, yeah.
Correct.
In Japanese, yeah.
No, anatta.
Correct.
Yeah, anatta, that's what I used to think. I think
You
it's
just said
Japanese
anatta.
or not.
You just said anatta is me.
They are me.
You.
They are.
Talking about you.
I know. I thought all that when I was in Japan.
You
Anatta.
said anatta is me. It just pops you up.
So, yes. So, and then there's probably many more responses besides those ones, but those are some sort of ones that span the range from boring to fear to love to happiness. So, yeah, these teachings can bring up all sorts of reactions. So that now concludes that. Now we're going to move on to the topic of anatta.
Oh, I thought that was all.
No,
okay.
so that's the heart's response to these teachings.
Mm-hmm.
So anatta is the third characteristic. So the Buddha said all things are impermanent, all things are suffering, and all things are selfless. So all things have anatta. And in a way, I suppose seeing dukkha and seeing impermanence sort of lead to this, that things are selfless. Yeah? So our insights tend to lead to this. So, yeah. But as I say, if you can see impermanence deeply, then these become sort of self-evident or obvious, or one can sort of lead to the other. But instead of going via impermanence and via dukkha onto anatta, you can meditate straight on anatta direct. You don't have to sort of go through them if this has more resonance for you. Oh yeah, and actually, one thing which I didn't mention was often little labeling and mantras can help in all of these. So as you're thinking about impermanence, you can actually say to yourself, anicca, 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 or impermanent. That's impermanent. That's impermanent. Or that too will pass. That too will pass. So if you resonate with one of these methods, you can have a little mantra and just simply repeat it in the mind. Yeah? And same with dukkha. That's not going to be satisfactory. That's not going to be satisfactory. Dukkha, 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 dukkha.
I always get things a little bit mixed up, and I remember, you know, when we were doing that chapter on stuff arising and you label what's arising, it was like, impermanence arising, dukkha arising, you know, and it's like, and then I read it, it's like, well, but I still use it sometimes. It's like it's noting and you have labeling, like sadness arising or joy arising or whatever, and you noting it and then just observing it, and without clinging to it, and then just watching it sort of go. But yeah, I went through a stage of like, dukkha here, dukkha arising, dukkha arising. So they were my three labels.
Good.
Yeah.
So it is good to do that. So again, you can label this one, you know, anatta, not self. One of the good ones is not me, not mine. Not me, not mine. My hand. It's not me, it's not mine. It's not me, it doesn't belong to me.
Not my monkey, not my circus. It's the same thing, but
Does
a bit cheeky.
Does that mean don't take it on other people?
Yeah, well, I see it that way.
Well, no, I'm talking sort of deeper than that. Is everything, you know, we tend to say, this is my shirt, okay? And if you touch this shirt, you'll be in trouble. This is my shirt. But actually, it's not mine.
It's just a shirt.
It's just a shirt. And it's impermanent. So I could think of it and go, I could say, anicca.
These are the shirts, not shirts.
That's right.
He'd give the shirt off his back, he would.
Yeah,
He would.
I mean, so all of these ones, like anatta, there's various levels you can work at. So I'm starting at the sort of most easiest level, and then we can work down. So one of the things you can remind yourself is, you know, not me, not mine. So it's good to go through all your possessions and go, you know, not mine, not mine. This one, not mine. You know? All of them, not mine. Not me, not mine.
That's big stuff, isn't it? Because people get so...
Get so possessive.
We get so...
That's right. We expand ourselves to incorporate
greedy
our possessions. So we sort of have this extended sense.
We can't have that one. You can have that one. You can't have that one.
So, you know, go ahead and see how attached you are to all your possessions. And say, it's not mine. It's not mine. If it disappears, which it will, you know, only my craving for it is going to give me suffering. It never was mine. It's not mine now. And it never will be.
Oh, that's deep, that one, isn't it?
Yeah. But not only possessions, but you can start doing it. Like this hand, it's not mine. You know, this hand could disappear. You know, this knowledge of Dharma, this knowledge that I'm teaching you, it's not mine. Never was. It isn't now. And it never will be. It could disappear in the stroke of a stroke. Yeah? All that knowledge. Perceptions. This eye that sees things, that sees you, it's not mine, is it? It's not mine. I could be blind, you know, in no time at all. But it was never mine to begin with. So why should I have a problem with that? If I become blind, I've lost something that never was mine. So not me, not mine. You can start to say that for everything you've got, all your possessions, but also all your aggregates.
I have a recent colleague, and he had a slight operation, and they stuffed it up, and he's had 10 operations, and he's lost his eye, and he's like, not me, not mine. You just get, he's the most positive person I know. He just gets on with life.
There you go.
Big.
It doesn't even. If you lose your vision, you could spend the rest of your life feeling miserable, or you could just go, well, it wasn't mine. I'm just going to make the best of it. I'm just going to do the best I can until I'm dead. Yeah, and it's a better way to have sukha.
That's a big one.
It is that feels like one that you have to
work
practice. That definitely. I don't think you can just snap into that one. You might be able to, but that one I think needs practice on the small things, and then work your way up.
Loved ones, your children, not me, not mine.
I work that one too.
Not mine.
Yeah.
You know, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is new for me. This is good.
So,
I've always felt that way with money, like that. I'm just a conduit. No, but it's true. It's like I've always felt that way with money, and I'm lucky enough to, be able to earn a good income. But I've gone for long periods of time of no income when I've done volunteer work. But money just flows through me. I'm a conduit for it because it's not mine.
Yeah.
Like I really feel that if someone needs it more than me, it is rightfully theirs.
That's right.
You know, it is like.
Yeah. Sometimes I've had people steal things from me. So it was never mine, and they obviously need it because they stole it from me. So let them have it.
Oh, this is a big one.
And people
I'll never forget you at the service station of Bali. We're going to buy 3 ice creams for people. You've got like, we don't know the currency at this stage. You've got a wad of cash. You go, take it.
Take what you need.
Take what you need. It was like I had millions to choose from. It was hilarious. I thought, oh, this woman's so generous. Didn't even know her from a crack. It was so funny. But the good thing is that's good karma because you worked hard, to get that money. And you're pretty loose with it. And
she's loose with it. She's got lots of stuff she's got to go through.
No, but also what goes around comes around.
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Nothing that works for you.
Yeah.
It flows through her.
But I've never worked for money. I've worked because
now
for another reason.
Take that same attitude for money and see if you can apply it to possessions,
your stuff. You've got to clear it.
Even your aggregates. Not me, not mine.
She's got lots to
You aggregates.
She's going to minimise that.
I am.
She's minimising.
So
But like I can have a caravan, but it's like for use of
start with
everyone.
the body, you can start with stuff which is inorganic. So you can say like my fingernail, not me, not mine. Yeah, because you're going to chop it off anyway. Or your hair, I've got that much hair. But not me, not mine. Yeah? Or, and actually there's a funny thing in the book which I thought I'd repeat. It says, start looking on your body in places that you don't normally look, like between your toes or get behind your ear. And you see things that you've never seen before. And you go, wow, I never knew I had that little bit of skin or that little freckle. And you realise it's a weird feeling because it's like, wow, I thought I knew my body, but I don't obviously know it because I didn't even know that bit existed or this bit existed.
That's an ear.
Well, yeah, this bit exists.
Yeah, well, this
Where's
bit's
this
something.
come from?
Because in denial.
So it can be fun to kind of realise that the body is not yours. It's just doing its own thing.
Sure
Does
is.
its own thing.
I don't think I'll do that exercise.
The next thing is, again, to think about dependency. And I do this at one of my beginners retreats. I say, do you think, when you think about it, is this body mine? Or the clothes that I'm wearing are not mine, obviously. But so is the body is not really mine. It was kind of given to me by my parents who conceived me. And not only that, it is supported by so many things. You know, it's supported by Tash, who makes the great food. It's supported by the builders who built this because it's a shelter. It's supported by the medical system. That, you know,
the osteopath or the
drugs or whatever. It's you know, and the food in turn. I'm supported by food, and the food is grown by farmers. So the food is not independent, and the farmers are supported by a host of other people, and they're supported by other people. You know, that there's an infinite number of causes and conditions to bring into account this cup, and like that, all of this, and not just physical stuff. Do you think I own this language that I'm speaking to you? Do you think this is part of me? Language isn't part of me. Do you think any of this is mine? Does anyone have any illusion that this is my knowledge that I'm teaching you? Okay, so there's not a cracker that's here that is me or mine. Nothing. It's all dependent on other people and other things. So it's a good way to think.
Universal spirit knowledge.
It's exactly. It's just a flow of the universe coming together into something that looks like a human, seems to talk a bit of stuff, and passes away. So it's good to practice that. Is to, like you said, with possessions, with your body, with everything like that, go, is this really mine? Or is this really me? So you know, it's definitely not me. From different angles, you know, you can look at it from the fact of impermanence, you can look at it from the fact of dependence on other things, and see that it's not you. And then the other aggregates, feelings and thoughts can be relatively easy to let go of. You can say, well, this feeling isn't me. It has causes and conditions, and the feeling will go. And even thoughts, well, I'm having this thought at the moment, but it's caused by other things, so it's not really me, it's just thought, so you can sort of let it go. Perceptions are a bit harder, and intentions, like I was talking to you before, you know, letting go, we tend to have a lot of hard to think that our perceptions are not me, and intentions are a lot deeper. But then consciousness, that one's quite difficult. Because I think one of the things we finally end up is, well, all right, I'm not my body, I'm not my thoughts, I'm not my feelings, I'm not my perceptions, but consciousness, that really does feel like me. So that one's a bit hard to let go. But even consciousness is not yours, because like I said, if you go under in drugs or in deep sleep, there's no consciousness there either. And it could be taken from you at any time. So it's therefore not yours. Alright. Oh, alright. Yep, I've only got really two other points to make.
Hold on.
We can pause, maybe.
Literally or metaphor?
If it does go on, not bother.
Peter, is the selflessness, is that the letting go of I, or is that the non-findable self?
Well, it's all leading to the same thing. So obviously, if you can't find a self, you'll let go of it. And when you let go of it, you realise you haven't really let go of anything because there was nothing there in the first place.
Yeah, because I sort of thought the three pillars of Buddhism was impermanence, understanding that the cause of dukkha is craving and attachment, and the third one was the dissolution of ego.
Yeah, you could.
But does that come under?
Yeah, because
anatta. Is that called anatta?
Yeah, because when you say I, what are you referring to? At the end of the day, you are really referring to ego. Anyway, you have paused.
Yeah, I've paused now. Or is that anatta? Is that more compassionate, selflessness, and compassion?
Well, no, anatta means not self.
Ah, okay.
Atta is
Not.
self, and anatta is
Right,
not
okay.
self. So it just means that we have an that is a delusion, it's an illusion, and you could say we give that up. Then when you look back, you can say, well, how did you give up that illusion? Because yes, you gave up the idea, but you didn't actually give anything up because there was nothing there to begin with. So that's why you get these different explanations, give up this idea of self, let go of self. It's a sentence which you understand because you feel there's a self and you try to let go of it. But you could go further and say, well, there was nothing to let go of it. So let going of self it's actually a meaningless sentence. It's like saying, just let go of nothing. What do you mean let go of nothing? There's nothing there. Type of thing. Selflessness is it's sort of in one meaning it means self of the body, but of course equally you can extend that to the self of things. So you could say that this stick is a phenomena, and we say it's a stick. So emptiness of self leads on after a while to think, well, everything is empty, and it's true. But for the time being, we can get into these states where we say, oh, I validly see that there's no self, but I still believe in a universe. I still feel that there's a world out here. And this is this kind of thing of like seeing yourself as a process. You could start to see, well, there's no real me, I'm just this process operating in the world. So you still see that there's a world, but because you see yourself more as a process than a person going about doing things, you've reached the first stage of selflessness, but not the final stage. Doesn't really matter so much because you will get there, and the point is when you give up the self of the self, that's when negative emotions stop. So that's when you're relieved of dukkha. So for all intents and purposes, even if you didn't get to that final step, it doesn't matter because you've reached a state of happiness anyway. But you will get there, especially with the teachers that are around today and stuff like that. There's people teaching it, so you can't help but see it and be intrigued by it and go further. So the emptiness of the perceived, and okay, and then we've got a meditation. So, any final questions?
Oh, she said, where you getting to?
Where's get there? Get where?
Nibbana.
There is nowhere.
How do we know when we're there? What is it?
No negative emotions.
No.
Oh
negative
yeah, no
emotions.
reactions, no, just flowing.
No negative.
No
Only
negative.
positive.
Yeah.
Either positive emotions or no, just equanimity.
Yeah.
Peace.
Yeah. Peace.
So nirvana and equanimity are the same thing, you think?
No, they're not the same thing. Nirvana is peace, and equanimity is equanimity. But nirvana comes first. Equanimity is the point just before nirvana. Alright, so emptiness. So, put yourself in a position where you feel alert, relaxed.
I'm awake now. Okay,
And awake. One of the things actually, just as we go into this meditation, is I told you about my meditation on the blue flower, and interestingly enough, so I stared at a blue flower for hours on end every day, day in, day out, for weeks and weeks. Now, interestingly enough, it made such an impression on my mind that I could take the flower away and I could still see a blue flower. Like, it was just right there because I've just been staring at it for so long. It's like it was there whether the blue flower or not was there. So when I put the blue flower back, it was really bizarre because I wasn't sure whether I was staring at a real blue flower or my mind's representation of a blue flower, because it was no different.
That's pretty
That
amazing.
is pretty cool.
Because you can do that with the sun, but that means that you gave so much light to that blue flower, like in your attention, and made it as bright as the sun energetically. Because you know, you can look up at something and you look away and you can see
Like
that
with
like
candle
that.
gazing.
Yeah.
Same with candle gazing.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Well, that's because it kind of burns something physical on your retina.
Yeah.
This is more a mental image. And what's really amazing is, if it's there, whether or not it's there or not, what about everything else? You know, and when I look at you, Monique, am I looking at my mind or am I looking at you?
Oh, not here.
I'm looking at Kathy and wondering where she's gone.
So,
She's not here, Anna.
Is she here?
No, she's an illusion.
all right, so close your eyes if it helps. And what we're going to do is, first of all, we'll in some ways, in some respects, because it's simple, we can take an ordinary thing like a cup, say for example, and look at how we know it exists. How do we know that this cup exists as a cup? So, first of all, we could say, well, is it the function of a cup? The fact that it holds liquid and we can drink out of it, we could say that's a cup. Right? But then, a bowl does hold liquid, and you could drink out of a bowl, and you know, there's lots of things that could hold liquid that you could drink out of, and they're not cups. So clearly, just the function alone doesn't mean that it's necessarily a cup. What about the colour? And it is sort of, you know, is it that a white with blue spots is a cup? Well, no, because there's other cups which are different colours, and they are also cups. It's not necessarily the cup. What about the shape? The fact that it has a bottom and then the sides and it has a bit of a handle. Yeah? Well, there are other things that have that kind of shape and have a handle but aren't cups. Yeah? Like, you know, a sieve might have a handle but that's full of holes and that's obviously not a cup. Or, you know, there's other things which maybe have a similar shape to this, but they're not. I mean, a volcano has a cauldron, isn't it? A volcano has like a cup-shaped thing in the mountain, but of course that's obviously not a cup. So it's not really the shape that makes it a cup. It's not the shape, is it? So, how do we know that it's a cup? Does it require on the fact that we use it as a cup? So I use this as things to put tea in, and I drink out of it, so therefore it's a cup. But it's still a cup when I'm not using it. So when it's in a cupboard, it's still a cup. So it can't depend on the user. It can't depend on being used, because it doesn't just come into existence as I'm using it and then disappear out of existence. So how do we know it's a cup? Well, maybe it's the material. It's made out of ceramics. No, there's lots of things made out of ceramics and they're not cups. So that can't be. So where is the cupness in the cup?
What we've learned, what people have told us.
Yeah. Our story.
Our conditioning, the story.
Yeah.
And if that cup was in Ray's house, it'd have an even bigger story if it was his cup.
Exactly.
The whole people would go, that's Ray's cup. Right.
So really take this inside
Yeah.
and really try to sort of contemplate, how do I posit it as a cup? And if it's a story, what is that story? And is that story essentially true?
Well, no. No.
So I'm not asking you to answer. So just in your mind's eye, answer in your mind. So as a type of a meditation, we're kind of doing this as a contemplative exercise, and think to ourselves, what is a cup? You can also do things, for example, is take this cup and imagine, well, if it had a small crack in it, would it still be a cup? If it leaked just a little bit of water, one drop, one drop, one drop. And if you still say yes, well, it's still a cup, what about if you had a bigger crack or a chip out of it? What if the handle fell off? What if it was broken into a million pieces? Where does cup become non-cup? Eventually, we see that there is no real cup here. There's just a projection of us saying it's a cup, and that's not real.
So that's the same as our colours, like, because we grew up, someone said that's blue, that's yellow, it's
everything.
It's just been, yeah.
So the idea is to contemplate it with cup, then you can contemplate it with colours and stuff like that. So we'll do that now. So without speaking, just contemplate this in your mind and apply it to yourself. Become aware of yourself. Now, where is it? Who is doing the thinking? Who is doing the meditating? How does it seem to come into existence for you, this person that is doing the meditating? How does it appear to you? Is it real or is it a creation in your mind? Does this self exist in some solid, definable way? We really believe that we are a self. So where is this self? Can you locate it? Is it in one part of the body? Well, no, because if we chop bits off the body, then it's obviously not in the parts. So is it the whole of the body? No, likewise. It can't be the whole of the body because, again, if we take bits off the body, then it's not like a self reduces in any way. And you could think about, is it the possessor of the parts, so the sevenfold reason which I put up there. Is it in the mind? We have a rapid succession of thoughts and feelings, so which one contains the you? Can you find this you in the mind? Is it the loving thought, the angry thought, the depressed thought? Contemplate these things until you feel that strongly that there is no real findable self. That all of it is an illusory projection of our mind. Now, I want you to imagine mentally disintegrating your body into billions and billions of atoms that merge indistinguishably with the atmosphere, floating off in all directions. Because the atoms that make up our body are no different to the atoms that make up the world around us. Do the same with your mind. Just allow your mind to disintegrate, to float off in different directions. All the aggregates, allow them to all dissolve. Everything to just drift apart. Stay with that feeling of emptiness as deeply and as long as you can. Now, if you want to continue this meditation, you might find that after a while, out of nowhere, a sense of I returns. Again, you can use that same reasoning to dissolve that sense of I. And then again, allow yourself to dissolve into billions and billions of atoms, just drifting on indistinguishably with all the other atoms, and all the other quarks and mesons and neutrinos and things like that. And finally, I'd like you to apply this to anything in life where you feel you have a sense of dukkha, a problem that you've got. and see that the people that you label are just illusions. The issues that you have are illusory. The objects in the problem are illusory. And allow it to just drift into space and just simply be one with the space within which those illusions arise. And feel that sense of peace when you allow everything to just dissolve like that. A sense of calmness. And let me know if you have any responses or questions.
So I sort of felt like I was watching my mind. I was sort of, the eye was watching my mind. And then when I let it disintegrate, I could sort of see that there wouldn't be anything else there, but I couldn't quite understand it fully, you know? Like it made, I could see there's nothing, I'm nothing, but I couldn't feel that fully just yet.
Yeah. Yep, so it takes time, and it's about realising you can't know it, just sort of let it sink into you and feel
But
it.
that was a really good exercise, yeah. You see that, that's what my image of me is, of someone sort of watching my mind.
Yeah.
But then, so you see that there's nothing there. I could tell that it wouldn't be there if my mind wasn't there. So yeah, no, it's a good exercise, so I'd like to practice that.
Alright, we'll stop it there and finish up there.